here to finish Help Get Me Out of Fourth Grade. We only have about 4 chapters left, so we should be able to do that pretty quickly here. We still have the same characters that we've been talking about for the last 20 chapters. And the last we left off was Hank's parents just got home from the Stone Cold Rock concert in Philadelphia. The plan went as it should have, and his mom and dad had a great time. They made friends with the members of the band, and the last thing that they were doing was they were walking out the door, and Hank asked why, and they said because they have a parent-teacher conference to go to, and that was Hank's parent-teacher conference. So now Hank is really worried about having to redo the 4th grade. Chapter 21. Danger, danger. My mouth went dry and my knees started to shake. But Mom, I said, how did you know it was parent-teacher conference day? My mind raced. Maybe she found that brown envelope that I had left stuffed in the bottom of my backpack under all the half-eaten granola bars. Maybe Frankie's mom had a reminder of the teacher conferences where they were doing the downward-facing dog or one of their other crazy yoga positions. Or maybe Miss Adolph had implanted a communication device in my mom's head during back-to-school night and was sending secret messages to her. That had to be it. Miss Adolph called up to set an appointment, my mom said. What? No implant device, I was thinking? What was wrong with me? Why hadn't I thought of the telephone? Duh. Apparently, there was a pink sign-up slip that a certain someone was supposed to bring home, my mom said, ruffling my hair. And when you didn't return yours, Miss Adolph called us directly. My face must have turned all colors of red, green, and blue because my mom reached out and gave me a little peck on the cheek. Don't worry about it, honey. I know how things slip your mind. But, Mom, I thought you'd be gone. Oh, honey, we wouldn't miss your parent-teacher conference, Hank, my dad said. Not even for Filbert Funk. Or Stone Cold Rock, my mom added. Your education is very important to us, my dad added. Uh-oh, he was starting to sound like himself again. But what about the band and the fully stocked bus and everything? Was all I could manage to say. Oh, when we told Skeet and the boys that we had an appointment with your teacher, they didn't mind coming back to New York a little early, my mom said. They said they were down with that. Oh no, now she was doing it too. Miss Adolph mentioned that we should bring the large brown envelope she sent home with you, my mom said. I assume that's the stuff in your backpack with all the papers that you always forget. The room was starting to spin. All my plans going down the drain in front of my eyes. Before I could move, my mom was unzipping the large compartment of my backpack and pulling out the hideous brown envelope. I hate you, brown envelope, I'm thinking to myself. Come on, Stanley, we'd better hurry. Wait, I said, desperate to stop them. You can't go. Why not, honey? Because, well, look at Dad. He's wearing leather pants. So I think they look kind of cute on him, my mom said. So, my teacher will think that you're a rock star, Dad, and then all the other teachers will swarm around you to get your autograph. And, well, you know how you feel about crowds and all. I looked out over at Emily for help. She actually looked like she felt sorry for me. My mom picked up her purse and headed for the door. We're looking forward to talking to your teacher, Hank. I'm sure she'll have many lovely things to say about you. My dad gave me a soul brother handshake. Keep it real, dude, he said. Later. And with that, he bopped out the door after my mom. As they were waiting for the elevator, I think I heard him say, ram, ram, diggity dang. But I can't be totally sure. I felt sick to my stomach. I ran to the phone and called Frankie. Townsend here. Talk to me, he said. Frankie never just says hello. It's me. Bad news. They came back early. What happened? Frankie asked. It's a long story involving leather pants and a telephone, I said. The point is, they're on their way to school. I'll get Ashley, Frankie said. We'll meet you downstairs in the clubhouse in 5 minutes. Our clubhouse is a storage room in the basement of our building. It's filled to the ceiling with boxes of winter clothes and Christmas dishes and silk pillows and other weird stuff the adults in our building have collected over the years. We have a couch and a chair, and Frankie, Ashley, and I have had some really fun times there. This definitely wasn't one of those kinds, though. I have to face it, I said as I stood in front of Frankie and Ashley 5 minutes later. My plan has failed. I'm doomed. You tried your best, Zip, Frankie said. Here, I made this for you, Ashley said. She handed me a three-ring notebook with the word Hank written on the front in bright red rhinestones. You can use it next year no matter what grade you're in. Thanks, Ashwina. I'm going to miss you guys. Who will I talk to in class? Well, you can talk to me, said a nasally voice from the hallway. I'll be in class with you. I spun around, and sure enough, it was Robert Upchurch, my new classmate and best friend. Oh boy. It won't be so bad, Hank, the little nerd, said. We'll hang out together in the yard. I know you like to play ball, and I don't want to participate in physical games, but I'm sure we'll enjoy good conversations about many topics, such as penguins, the internal combustion engine, and nanobots. I can't believe how lucky I am to be with you. No way. I cannot repeat fourth grade. Not with him. I just can't. I'm not sure what was in my mind at that very second, but I knew that I had to get to the school and I had to try to stop what was going to happen to me. I ran out of the clubhouse, down the hall, up the stairs to the ground floor, and out of the door of our apartment building. I ran and didn't stop until I reached Miss Adolph's classroom. Chapter 22. I stood there in the upstairs hall of PS 87, Public School 87, panting like a cheetah that had just chased an antelope all the way across the jungle. The door to Miss Adolph's room was closed. A sign written in her handwriting said, "Do not disturb, conference in progress." I leaned up against the door and pressed my ear to it really hard. I could hear voices in there, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. I heard Dr. Berger talking. At least she was there. Her voice sounded nice and calm. Then I heard Miss Adolph interrupt her. I could tell it was her voice because it sounded like a mean crow. Or maybe a rooster with an ingrown toenail. I didn't have to hear her words to know that she wasn't paying me a lot of compliments. Then I heard my dad's voice. He was talking louder than all the others, and I was pretty sure I could understand what he was saying. Alrighty then, I'm down with that, I heard him say. Hey, Dad, don't be down with that. Don't be down with anything. I thought my ear was going to fly off my head and run into a cave in height of embarrassment. My dad was still in his rock and roll mode, or as he would say, and this is hard for me to repeat, he still had his groove mojoing. The only thing worse than being left back is having your dad hear about it while he's got his groove mojoing. I hope this kind of thing never happens to you, but in case it does, I'm going to pause my story for a minute to give you a list of some things you should tell your dad never to say when he's meeting with your teacher. Actually, he should never say these things when he's meeting with anyone. Actually, he should never say them at all. You know, Frank hangs into lists. So 10 things you never ever want to hear your dad say when he's talking with your teacher, or with anyone else for that matter. Number 1, I'm down with that. Number 2, you rock my world. Number 3, want to see me break dance? Number 4, shake that thing. Number 5, let's get funky. Number 6, come on, babe. Number 7, show me some love. Number 8, who's your daddy? Number 9, rock on, dudes. Number 10, I got my mojo working. Memorize this list and make your dad take a solemn oath that he will never say these things in your presence or around anyone you know or anyone you have ever met or may meet one day. Okay, now we can go on with my story. Chapter 23. I guess I was so busy making up the list that I missed the sound of footsteps because when the door suddenly opened next to my ear, I was taken totally by surprise. I lost my balance, fell headfirst into the classroom, tripped over the wastebasket, stumbled across the floor, and slid on my butt right into my dad's feet. Who's your daddy? My dad said. No, Dad, I whispered. That's number 8 on the list. You have to stop saying that. Now. I'll try, he said, but don't count on it. I looked over to see who had opened the door to the hallway. It was Principal Leland Love, the head honcho at PS 87. Oh boy, things must be really bad if I have to have the principal come to my parent-teacher conference. Hello, Principal Love, sir, I said, pulling myself to my feet. Young man, what are you doing lurking outside the door? He asked in his big, booming voice. I was listening in, sir, I said. And were you invited to listen in? He asked. Principal Love has this mole on his face that's shaped like a Statue of Liberty. When he's upset, it kind of twitches. and the Statue of Liberty wall looks like it's doing the hula dance. And she was dancing up a storm right then. No, I said. Then why were you listening? He demanded to know. Because I wanted to know, because after all, they are talking about me. I know this was a disrespectful thing to say, but I figured that as long as I was going to have to repeat the 4th grade, I might as well go down in flames. There are some things children should know, and some things that they should not know. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Zipser? Principal Love said. Not really, sir. Well, then I'll say it again. There are some things children should know, and some things that they should not know. Now, do you understand? The truth was, I understood the words, but I really didn't know what he meant. I think if someone knows something about me, then I should know about it too. Principal Love is known for saying things twice, but sometimes on special days, he's been known to say the same thing 3 times. In my state of mind, I didn't think that I could survive that. So instead of arguing with him, I just nodded and said that now I understood and everything was clear as glass. He left. We all listened to his rubber-soled Velcro tennis shoes squeak across the linoleum hall until we couldn't hear him anymore. Well, there I was, inside the classroom during a parent-teacher conference. Now what? I looked at the group sitting around Miss Adolph's desk. I searched my mom's eyes to see any signs of bad news. She seemed a little tired. I looked at my dad, but he was busy looking over a stack of papers that looked like they were in my handwriting. I recognized my handwriting because it looked like it was written in Chinese, except for it was really in English. Miss Adolph was holding a report and making marks on it with a red pencil. She was probably correcting her own report. She cannot stop correcting papers, even when they're own. She loves that red pencil. The only one who looked like she was interested in me was Dr. Berger. She was holding her mug that said, "Children are our future," and that made me smile, and she noticed and smiled back. "Hello, Hank," she said. "Would you like to sit down?" "Excuse me, Dr. Berger," Miss Adolph said, "but that's against the rules. This is a parent-teacher conference, not a child-teacher conference." "Well, if it's all the same to you, Fanny." "I think Hank made a very good point to Principal Love," Dr. Berger said. "He has a right to know what we're talking about. After all, it's his future we're discussing." Fanny? Did I hear that right? That's Miss Adolph's first name? I had completely forgot about it. You never think of your teachers as having first names. I always just assume that everyone calls her Miss Adolph, even her husband, even her kids. I can hear him now. "Nighty-night, Miss Adolph. Happy anniversary, Miss Adolph." Yuck, Hank. Stop your brain before you throw up. Ordinarily, the Fanny word would have made me laugh my head off, but I was too scared to laugh. Not at a time like this. Not at a time when my whole 5th grade life was at stake. I suddenly became aware of the fact that my heart was beating really fast and I was starting to sweat. Dr. Berger pulled up a chair for me, but I didn't sit down. It looked like it was tilted. I looked at Miss Adolph's desk and it seemed tilted too. As a matter of fact, the whole room looked like it was on an angle. I wondered how all the adults were sitting upright in their chairs and not sliding into the wall when the room was almost sideways. "Sit down," I heard Miss Adolph say, but boy, did her voice sound kind of weird. It sounded like the words were trying to push through thick, gooey maple syrup to get into my ear. Everyone was waiting for me to sit down and say something. "If you don't mind, I'll stand," I said. My voice sounded weird to me too, like it was coming out of a loudspeaker at Shea Stadium where the Mets play. What's going on with me? I was seeing funny, I was hearing funny, and my heart was beating a mile a minute like it does when I'm really scared on a roller coaster. Wait a minute, Hank. That's it. You're scared. You're scared about what they're going to say to you. My father got up, pushed the chair under me, and said, "Chill, little dude. Take a load off your soles." Dr. Berger was looking at me over the top of her glasses. Her glasses had this lavender lenses, so you're not sure if they're sunglasses or real glasses. She says she likes them because they smooth the rough edges from the world. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure sounds pretty great. "Hank," Dr. Berger said. Thank goodness her voice was starting to sound normal. I noticed I was holding my breath, waiting for the rest of her sentence to come out. I heard Frankie in my mind saying, "Breathe, Zip, breathe." But I absolutely couldn't. "Do you have something you would like to say to us?" she said. "Just one question," I said, "and only one. Suddenly, it came blurting out of my mouth. I had to say it fast and I had to get it over with. Am I going to be left back? I asked. Chapter 24. It seemed like forever until somebody said something. Why wasn't anybody answering me? It was obvious, because they didn't know how to break the bad news. Please, I heard myself saying, I'm begging you, don't do it. It would be horrible. I'd be so embarrassed I wouldn't show up for school ever again. Everyone would be talking about me, Hank, the stupid loser, the moron, the kid who will never get out of 4th grade. I really do try. Doesn't that count for anything? I will try harder. I promise I'll make my brain do what it doesn't want to do. Honestly. Suddenly I felt my mom's arms around me. Normally I don't allow public displays of affection, but this felt awfully good. It's okay, honey, my mom said. We haven't decided to hold you back. You haven't? Even though holding you back is not the worst idea in the world, Miss Adolph said, we are thinking about recommending that you go to summer school instead. Hank, Dr. Berger said, we believe that for you to be successful in 5th grade, you need to strengthen your basic skills in math and reading comprehension. Well, that made some sense. I had to give her that. Math and reading are not exactly my strong points. Because of your learning challenges, if you're going to succeed in school, you are going to have to be willing to put in some extra time, Dr. Berger went on. Are you down with that, Hank? My dad asked. If it meant I could go on to 5th grade and be with Frankie and Ashley, I'd be down with anything. Sure, Dad. I am so down with that, it's not even funny. The summer school class is small, so you'll be able to get a lot of extra attention and individual instruction. You mean all I have to do is go into 5th grade? All I have to do to go into 5th grade is to go to summer school? I asked. Dr. Berger nodded. Cool, I said. Where do I sign up? Wait a minute. Did you see that? I'm agreeing to go to summer school. Can't believe I just heard myself say that. Hank, shut up before you volunteer to write an extra credit report on why the Japanese people like blowfish. We want to give you every opportunity to succeed, Hank, Dr. Berger said. But I thought you were going to make me repeat 4th grade, I said. I know that both you and your friend Bernice were worried about that, but I want you to know that we're on your side. We are here to help you, Dr. Berger said. But what about that big brown envelope, the one that said I was going to be held back? You mean this one? My dad said, taking the brown envelope out from underneath all of his papers. It was full of samples and tests and homework from this year, he said. That's all? Your papers are full of spelling errors, Hank, my dad said. Looks like you gave Miss Adolph's red pencil a real workout. Perhaps I should give her one of my mechanical ones. He reached into the pocket of his leather pants and pulled out a shiny silver mechanical pencil. Then he twisted it so a thin, smooth piece of lead popped up from the point, and he handed it to Miss Adolph. You can keep this, my dad said. I have a whole collection of them. Would you like it, Miss Adolph? Hold on to your hats for this one. Miss Adolph actually smiled. And not that little snarky thing that she does in the class, but she had a big old wide grin. Then she laughed. I am down with that. We all laughed. It felt like a 5-ton sack of smelly socks had been lifted off my back. Whew! I promise you guys, I will work hard in summer school. I'll do all my math and I'll read the dictionary. I'll learn lots of new vocabulary words. In fact, I would like to start now. How about the word redo? I thought that meant to do over, but maybe I was wrong. Oh, you were quite right, Miss Adolph said. I often use the word redo to indicate things that I need to correct. For example, Henry, I sometimes write it in my roll book to indicate a certain report card I need to rewrite because I did a kind of a sloppy job. Really? That's why you write redo in your roll book? Somehow, I feel you may have run across that use of the word recently, Miss Adolph said. Did you, Henry? I have to confess, I said, looking at her. I did recently run across that word. There it was. I knew she knew. I looked in her roll book. What was she going to do with that little tidbit of information? That will be another conversation, Henry, that you and I will have in private. Let me just say that it appears that you will have the opportunity to improve your reading comprehension even before summer begins. perhaps in some after school sessions with me, shall we say? I may not be smart in a lot of things, but one thing that I've gotten really good at is the ability to sniff out a punishment. And to me, that kind of sounded like detention to me. I'll bet you $5 that I'm going to be getting to do that extra credit book report on why the Japanese people like blowfish way sooner than I thought. But hey, at least I'm going to be in 5th grade next year. Hank Zipser, 5th grade. 5th grader. That sounds great. Oh yeah, I'm down with that. That is the end of the book. You are more than welcome to take a test. Test number is 85213. 85213. 85213. Good luck.